welcome back to GM Runs Game. In this video we're going to be taking a look at a scenario for Dragonbane. The scenario is called Lindworm Cavern. It's created by Emerald Mage Games. It's available on Drive-Thru-RPG. I've run it a few times and I think it's a really nice introductory scenario to show off some of the mechanics of Dragonbane and give people a little bit of the mirth and mayhem, as Free League like to say, for the system. So in this package, which is $2.50 on Drive-Thru-RPG, you get both DM and player maps for virtual tabletops. They're easy to convert. You get stats for kobolds, which is a creature which isn't in the bestiary, more of a D&D style creature, but it's been transferred over to the Dragonbane system, so you can run those. You get a nice system introduction scenario, as well as interactable things such as flora and fauna, a monster at the end that you get to fight. You get to show off rules like the swimming rules, sneaking rules. You can easily tie this scenario into your Dragonbane campaign if you're setting it in the Misty Vale or anywhere else, and it's right beside the combat introduction location of Drakmar Pass. So once you've done that, you can either move your party towards the Lindworm Cavern, or you can come across, as I've done, devastation in Drakmar Pass and there not be any goblins, and in fact Weatherman says, go to outskirts and investigate this cave. So lots of different ways that you can integrate this one. It's really nice. It runs in about 2 to 3 hours with people who are new to the system. I've run it with 2 players, I've run it with 4, and I've run it with 5, and it all sort of caps off at about 3 hours, so just depending how many people you have and how much they want to interact with the scenario. There's mechanics in there to scale up or scale down based on how many players you've got. So let's take a quick look and see. So what have we got? Introduction. We won't bother going through all of the introduction, but we will just go over this situation, which is the little story hook you get in this. So a Lindworm has made this cavern its home, feeding on lost travellers in the Kumar Mountains and sometimes hunting animals and poor folk in the Misty Vale. A small group of kobolds who worship the Lindworm as a lesser dragon have befriended the beast, winning its favour with food and luring would-be adventurers to their deaths. So what's a Lindworm in Dragonbane? A Lindworm is an ancestor of dragons. They don't have wings. They're almost serpent-like, but they've got two arms, no legs, but 2 arms. They're particularly interested in gold and things that glitter, and kobolds in this situation have stumbled across this and think it's probably a good idea to keep this one on side. So you can see in the map section here, Drakmar Pass to the left hand side of the Lindworm Cavern. That's your combat introduction. That's sort of like your taster or your end of session 0 combat scenario. From that, the campaign book will tell you to go to outskirts. I've had players go there and then leap back round to Lindworm Cavern, and I've had players start at Lindworm Cavern instead of for the Drakmar Pass. It's just a bit more epic. The monster at the end is a bit nicer than what you get in Drakmar Pass. You've got random events tables. So these you roll when time passes, and they can demonstrate all types of things like stalagmites falling from the ceiling, which is a great way to demonstrate the lethality of the game. You can show off the fear mechanics. You can have more combat encounters come from this, or you can have nothing that happens. And the dice you roll will change as you go through to make more things more likely to happen. Okay, so this is the DM, the Game Master map. Your players are going to come in from the bottom right hand side, and this map is shown when you go on to Drive-Thru-RPG. I'm not showing anything that the creators haven't shown really. So you come in from the bottom right, and the conclusion of the campaign or the conclusion of the scenario is obviously in that top section of this map. To give you a brief overview, you sort of meander round to the bottom of this formation of water. You'll have a small combat encounter. As you work your way up, you'll have a larger combat encounter. You'll get hints and clues that the Lindworm is being worshipped. You'll find fauna that will allow you to heal yourself a certain amount. You'll find treasure along the way, which is random. You'll get opportunities to do sneak attacks, to look at the swimming rules, before you have combat with a monster. Another way I've run this as well, if you look in the top right corner, you can see there's sort of top left corner, you can see there's a couple of dead bodies and some treasure there. So I've run it where I've had only 2 people online to play the game. So I showed them all of the pre-generated characters that they could choose from, and they woke up in the Kumar Mountains, and the other starter characters that they didn't choose had been taken, they'd been kidnapped, and they were in that section there, so they had to go and sort of slay their way through this cavern to try and rescue those people, and it turned out super epic. So that was really, really good. There's lots of locations you can read through, which I don't really want to give away because I feel like at $2.50 you should really just buy it. And then you have here the big bad, the Lindworm. Now these monster attacks and stats are available in the Dragonbane bestiary, so we can go through this a little bit. It's got 2 ferocity, which means it's attacking twice every round of initiative, 64 hit points. It's got movement 18, so if you're doing squares, it's 9 squares it can move, and it's got a random d6 monster attack table. You can either do that randomly or you can choose. One thing I would say you need to show off on this one is the devouring attack, which is number 6. When the battle is getting towards its climax, if it's not already been demonstrated, do that. So what happens with the devouring attack? The beast swallows an opponent whole, inflicting 2d6 bludgeoning damage. The victim can keep attacking the Lindworm from within, where it has no armor rating, but for each round spent in the beast's belly, the victim takes d6 damage on their turn through stomach acids and digestive systems, and their armor has no effect, so both parties have got no armor. The victim gets out once the Lindworm is dead. So this is like Guardians of the Galaxy 2, is it? Where Drax goes into that octopus thing. I think it's an octopus thing. And then at the end of it, he sort of cuts his way out from the inside. So that's a super, super epic way to sort of build this crescendo when you're fighting this monster. And the monster will, have parties in trouble. If you've got fewer people, you can either reduce the ferocity, so it only attacks once every initiative round. You can reduce the hit points, or you can sort of reduce the damage dice, but probably better to keep the damage dice and look at the ferocity and the hit points to change. You also get stats for a cobalt, or 3 different variations of cobalts here, which I think is probably worth a purchase as well, so I'm not really going to show that too much. And then finally you've got over here on DriveThruRPG, which I'll link down below, this is the actual listing itself. It's got 2 reviews, one is one that I've given, one is another one, and both of those are 5-star reviews. So let's just have a quick read. We've got 12 pages for the document in total. Vincent says, I've bought most of the supplements for Dragonbane that I can find. This one might be my favourite. It feels the most like the quests in the starter adventure book. Very plug and play. A lot of supplements seem to try to do too much. This one is easy for DMs to fit into your game. It's simple but thorough, with nice maps and good hooks, and it is all of those things. Above is me. I've said start here. I've run this as a new Roll20 GM and for players new to the system. It's a fun adventure which took us 3 hours as we learned both systems, i.e. GM side and player side. The players loved the adventure, commenting on it at the end. You could, as the other review mentions, run this with little prep and have an awesome time, well worth the money. So, if you like the sounds of that and you want to fight, or you want to have your players fight something totally awesome at the end of a great introduction to the Dragonbane system, pick up Lindworm Cavern from DriveThruRPG. It's $2.50. I'll link it down below. You honestly can't go wrong with it. Even if you don't run the scenario, you're getting a map and you're getting some stat blocks for that. I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? If you like the video, please like the video. Subscribe if you want to. There'll be more Dragonbane videos coming out, as well as alien videos and some other stuff I've got planned coming up as well. And I will see you next time.